Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports. Today we bring you this video segment every single morning to help you catch up with things that have been taking place in the world of sport whilst you were catching up on some all important sleep, because let's face it, whilst you and I need sleep and truth be told the whole world needs sleep, the world of sport doesn't really sleep. There's always something or the other going on and it can be a little cumbersome to keep in touch with every little thing that is taking place. But worry not, that's what we're here for. And let's start off with some interesting news really coming from the T20 World Cup, or rather a revelation of sorts from a moment that went very viral. Doubtless you'd remember when Rohit Sharma dropped his knees and then actually ended up eating a little piece of the Barbados pitch after the T20 World Cup final was done and dusted. Now he's opened up on why exactly it is he did that. Of course, it's something that has been compared to what Novak Djokovic does when he wins a Grand Slam. He will tend to always eat a little bit of the floor where he's at. He's done it in pretty much every Grand Slam where it is possible, whether that be Wimbledon where he's eaten the grass or anywhere else. And Rohit said that this was nothing planned as such, it was very spontaneous, and all I really wanted was basically to have a part of the pitch which helped us win the T20 World Cup within myself. Definitely a very interesting, spiritual, nice way of looking at things. Although I don't know about you guys, but I personally never want to be caught eating dirt like that. Again, that's just a personal thing, but I mean, to each his own, and truth be told, I understand the logic here entirely. Now, speaking of the T20 World Cup, we've spoken a lot about how it is that India's players fell, but spare a thought really for the South Africans, and perhaps one of the biggest indicators on how it is they felt has come courtesy of an Instagram story from David Miller. Now, Miller took to his Instagram stories and posted the following. He said that I'm gutted. Really tough pill to swallow after what transpired 2 days ago. Words don't explain how I'm feeling, but one thing I do know is how proud I am of this unit. This journey was an incredible one, highs and lows through the entire month. We've endured pain, but I know this team has resilience and will keep raising the bar. Now, obviously, you can understand why it is that Miller feels this way, because again, it was very much within their grasp. Even 16 needed of the final over would not have been impossible had, let's say, for instance, Miller's first shot, which he ended up getting caught by Suryakumar Yadav, connected off sky, ended up just placing 1 foot on the boundary ropes when he was going for that catch. Could have been a very different match, but you can understand why it is he's feeling heartbroken. That, and of course, the historical significance of South Africa always falling short in big ICC tournaments. But switching focus now, and again, Indian cricket is something that never really stops. We've seen now that the Indian players, many of the youngsters especially, who will be part of the Zimbabwe T20I series, have in fact left India and jetted off to Zimbabwe. Of course, you can see here that VVS Lakshman, who will of course be the stand-in head coach for this series, was there. You had pictures which the BCCI posted, of course, of Abhishek Sharma and fair few others, those who aren't, of course, part of the T20 World Cup side and who aren't still currently stuck in the Caribbean, because again, storm-like situations, hurricane-like situations in Barbados has meant that their return has been just that little bit delayed. But switching focus now from the world of cricket to the world of football, and well, it was a roller coaster of emotions for Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal, because they ended up having to sweat it out to beat Slovenia in the round of 16 game in the Euros. Now, of course, Ronaldo had the chance of actually winning the game for Portugal, but his penalty was saved, which pretty much moved him to tears. I mean, there were literal tears. He had to be consoled by his teammates. But then once it went to the penalty shootout, it was thanks to the heroics of their goalkeeper Diogo Costa that they ended up making it through comfortably. He made 3 saves in the shootout, so an impressive showing really when you think about it. And Ronaldo and Portugal's hopes of adding another title, another European Championships, remains alive, because they are through to the quarter-finals. Now, in other news, France and Belgium were facing off against each other in what was a blockbuster of a round of 16 game. And of course, a game that big, it was always expected to be a bit tight. And that's exactly how it played out. France ended up winning thanks solely to a goal from Randall Kolo Muani, a 1-0 victory. Tight one, sure, but it's always going to be fine margins, and France still look like they are very much one of those teams that can actually go the distance and actually win the title. And of course, later today, you'll see the last of the round of 16 encounters for the Euros. One, of course, will see Austria in action, and Austria have really been one of the teams to watch out for in this particular edition of the Euros. You'll also see Netherlands in action, and they also are a team that most people would could potentially be expecting to go the distance if it really comes down to it. Potentially, these two teams could be rounding out the last quarter final as far as the Euros are concerned. Of course, upsets can and will always happen, but I think it's safe to say these two teams are the favorites. Switching our focus now once again, and Indian tennis star Sumit Nagal had a bit of a disappointing debut or a bow when it comes to the Wimbledon men's single draw. Of course, he was up against Miomir Kecmanovic, a higher ranked player from Serbia, and even though it went 4 sets, it was in fact Nagal who ended up coming out at the losing end. But of course, him even making it to the second round would have possibly been a massive overachievement. The fact that Nagal is in a position where he can qualify for the Grand Slam directly without needing to play the qualifiers or get to a wild card in itself big enough, and would also give him a good little bit of experience playing, of getting some competitive tennis in before he goes to play for the Paris Olympics. Don't forget, that is going to be the main focus now, because of course, whilst there will be other tournaments that he plays in, this will be one of the main things, because the prestige of being able to compete at the Olympics, massive. It won't add to his ranking points, but the prestige of potentially competing for an Olympic medal. Although I will say, temper your hopes if you feel otherwise, because the draw will remain tough. Well, it's something that might be a tough nut to crack, but let's see how far it is that he can go. Meanwhile, in other Indian sport-related news, Bajrang Punia has hit out at the NADA for what he feels is an unnecessary targeting. Remember, Bajrang had failed a dope test and was provisionally suspended, and even his second test ended up coming out positive. And in a lengthy post on social media platform X, he's basically said that he's basically accused the NADA of targeting him and actually trying to trap him in the net of doping when he is in fact innocent. It's something we'll take a look at separately in another video as well, but it does seem to be a rather ugly case of he said, she said, and who did what, and not probably the best way for him to be preparing for the Olympics. But of course, if he is in fact guilty, then no real sympathies here. And that's it from us in this edition of the Morning Wrap with Sports Today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the Sports Tech app. And if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. And stay tuned, plenty more coming your way through the day. For now though, from my side, it is goodbye.